May I have your attention, please? Today's celebration will begin in 10 minutes. We ask that you please be seated, turn off your cell phones, and please do not move into the aisles to take photographs during the ceremony. Professional photographers will be photographing each graduate as they receive their diploma. Please keep the aisles clear before and after the ceremony for graduates to enter and exit the arena. Thank you. Mount St. Joseph University is photographing and broadcasting this event. By attending, you understand and agree that the university may use video, audio, photographs, or other recordings of you from this event for advertising, trade, or other business uses in any medium or technology now known or later developed. By attending, you release the university, its owners, affiliates, officers, directors, employees, agents, subcontractors, and any other authorized person or entity from any claims arising from use of any video, audio, photograph, or other recording. Staff from our Roar store will be selling MSJ items in Harrington downstairs lobby after their ceremony today. The ceremony will start at 2:30 p.m.
Good afternoon. Welcome. I am Janet Cox, the Dean of Students, and it is my pleasure to announce that the 113th commencement of Mount St. Joseph University will now begin. During the year, I have the great opportunity to lead a team of individuals and offices who plan commencement ceremonies for our graduating students each May. And we are so happy to welcome you to celebrate your students' graduation and academic achievements. I'd also like to thank our band ensemble and vocalist, our marshals and readers, and all of our volunteers and university staff for being here today and for preparing our campus so beautifully for this very special occasion. Following the ceremony and benediction, guests must remain in your places until the graduates have left the Harrington Center. You may then exit through the main doors that you entered and then go around the drive and meet up with your graduates. And you can take photos around the quad or over by our big MSJ letters, by the parking structure, in front of our catamount statue. There are many places where you can take great photos. And to begin, I will ask the audience to remain seated for the processional. Will the volunteers please clear the aisles and entranceways? Thank you.
Please be seated. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Dr. Stephen Almquist, Provost and Master of Ceremonies for Commencement. This graduating class is part of Mount St. Joseph's long tradition, and it is indeed an honor to welcome our graduates, members of their families, and friends to the 113th Mount St. Joseph University Commencement. I'd like to start by thanking several people here today who have contributed to the success of the graduates. The family and friends of our graduates have played a vital role in supporting and encouraging them to reach their educational goals. We want you to know how much we appreciate you. Will the friends and families of the graduates please stand to be recognized? To members of the stage party and other special guests, I'm pleased you are here to celebrate with us today. I would like to introduce members of the staff and Board of Trustees and thank you for your support and your leadership. Please stand when I call your name and be seated after I call your name. Dr. H. James Williams, University President. Sister Helen Prejean, our guest speaker and honorary degree recipient. Dan Sutton, class of 2008, class of 1995, representing the Alumni Association. Thanks to Dan and all of our alumni for their support of MSJ and our graduates, and we will hear more from Dan later in the ceremony. Sister Karen Elliott, Chief Ministry and Heritage Officer. Janet Cox, Dean of Students. Steve Mullinger, Chairperson of the Board of Trustees. Dr. Ann Saluk, Board of Trustees. Vincent Terry, Board of Trustees. And Jenny Taylor, Registrar. I also want to thank members of our President's Cabinet, some of whom are here volunteering today. Paige Ellerman, Vice President, Compliance, Risk, and Legal Affairs and General Counsel. Jeff Briggs, Chief Financial Officer. Sydney Prohaska, Vice President of Institutional Advancement. Jeff Wampler, Vice President of Marketing. Chris Powers, Vice President of Enrollment. And Melanie Wagner, Director of Athletics and Recreation. These dedicated professionals work hard to ensure that today's decisions position the Mount for success years into the future. Thank you. Now I want to recognize a very special group of individuals who make Mount St. Joseph University graduates the very best. Their dedication and resilience is key to the success of each graduate. Of course, I'm talking about our faculty and our staff here at the Mount. Please join me in thanking this dedicated group for their care and their dedication to each and every student. Faculty and staff, please rise for recognition. I want to recognize a particular group of faculty today, and some of these faculty were at our morning ceremony. If you are here, please stand. And these are our emeriti faculty. Emeriti faculty have served the Mount for either 20 years or more, or they have been recognized by their peers in the faculty assembly and in the administration for their sustained contributions and commitment. While we are sad to see them leave, we are grateful for their contribution and we wish them well in their next chapter. The great thing for us is by conferring emeriti status, these people will remain connected to the Mount. So, from the School of Business, Professor Emeritus Jamal Rashid. From the School of Health Sciences, Associate Professor Emerita Marcia Eifert-Mangin, and Associate Professor Emerita Karen Holtgrief, both from the Physical Therapy program. From the School of Behavioral and Natural Sciences, Professor Emeritus of Psychology, Tim Lawson. From Arts and Humanities, Professor Emeritus of History, Pete Robinson. Associate Professor Emeritus of Communication, Father John Amankwa. And Associate Professor Emerita of Art, Loyola Walter. Thank you so much to this group for years and years of service. Commencement is always a memorable event for our graduates. You've worked so hard for so long, and for a few hours today, you don your caps and gowns and celebrate your achievements with your families and your friends. During your years on the Mount, you have learned not only business or nursing, physical therapy, or how to teach a child to read, you have learned to persevere, how to hang in there and to keep learning, how to keep writing those papers, studying for those exams, even as you cope with life's challenges. We are here today to celebrate your accomplishments and your grit. We're fortunate to have known you and look forward to sharing your journey as you become teachers or nurses, physician assistants, physical therapists, business leaders, organizers, partners, and parents. Remember, you will always and forever be Mount alumni. I now invite Sister Karen Elliott, Chief Ministry and Heritage Officer, to the podium to provide our invocation. Gentlemen, please remove your caps.
Let us pause for a moment to remember the spark of the divine, the holy presence within each one of us. Gracious God, we call upon you as we gather this day to celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates who have overcome adversity and challenges in the midst of a worldwide pandemic, political unrest, and social divisiveness as they have labored to complete their courses of study. The words of the prophet Jeremiah call us in the midst of crisis to be bold in our hope and to embrace the grace of the present moment. For I know well the plans I have in mind for you, says the Lord, plans for your welfare and not for woe, so as to give you a future full of hope. We pray that each of our graduates will be inspired and filled with your gift of hope to use all of their gifts and talents to serve the common good and to dare to risk a caring response. In the words of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, foundress of the Sisters of Charity, we pray that you, our graduates, will be prepared to meet your grace in every circumstance of life. We ask you to graciously and abundantly bless their family members and friends, along with the faculty, staff, and administration who have encouraged and supported them in this journey. In all of the holy and sacred names by which you are known, we pray to you, divine spark of life, and we pray that you will hear and answer this prayer for our graduates. Amen. Please stand for the national anthem sung by our student, Nolan Bradford. Nolan is graduating today with a Bachelor of Arts in Music Education.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Great job, Nolan. 2 for 2 today. It's my pleasure to invite Dr. H. James Williams, President of Mount St. Joseph University, to present our speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Provost. Our commencement speaker was granted an honorary doctorate this morning. So every time she visits our campus, she is now Dr. Sister Helen Prejean. And I'm pleased to introduce her at this moment. Our commencement speaker was born on April 21, 1939 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She joined the Sisters of St. Joseph in 1957. After studies in the USA and Canada, she spent the following years teaching high school and serving as the religious education director at St. Francis Cabrini Parish in New Orleans and the formation director for her religious community. In 1982, she moved into the St. Thomas Housing Project in New Orleans in order to live and work with the poor. While there, Sister Helen began corresponding with Patrick Saunier, who had been sentenced to death for the murder of 2 teenagers. 2 years later, when Patrick Saunier was put to death in the electric chair, Sister Helen was there to witness his execution. In the following month, she became spiritual advisor to another death row inmate, Robert Lee Willie, who was to meet the same fate as Saunier. After witnessing these executions, Sister Helen realized that this lethal ritual would remain unchallenged unless its secrecy was stripped away. And so she sat down and wrote a book, Dead Man Walking, an eyewitness account of the death penalty in the United States. Dead Man Walking hit the shelves when national support for the death penalty was over 80%. And in Sister Helen's native Louisiana, it was closer to 90%. The book ignited a national debate on capital punishment, and it inspired an Academy Award-winning movie, a play, and an opera. Sister Helen also embarked on a speaking tour that continues today. Sister Helen works with people of all faiths and those who follow no established faith, but her voice has had a special resonance with her fellow Catholics. Over the decades, Sister Helen has made personal approaches to 2 popes, John Paul II and Pope Francis, urging them to establish the Catholic Church's position as unequivocally opposed to capital punishment in all circumstances. After Sister Helen's urging under John Paul II, the Catechism was revised to strengthen the Church's opposition to executions, although it allowed for very few exceptions. Not long after meeting with Sister Helen in August of 2018, Pope Francis announced new language of the Catholic Catechism, which declares that the death penalty is inadmissible because it is an attack on the inviolability and dignity of the person, with no exceptions. Today, although capital punishment is still on the books in 30 states in the USA, it has fallen into disuse in most of those states. Prosecutors and juries alike are turning away from death sentences, with the death penalty becoming increasingly a geographical freak. Sister Helen continues her work, dividing her time between educating the public, campaigning against the death penalty, counseling individual death row prisoners, and working with murder victims' family members. Sister Helen's second book, The Death of Innocence, an eyewitness account of wrongful executions, was published in 2004. And her third book, River of Fire, My Spiritual Journey, in 2019. Now it is my pleasure to present Dr. Sister Helen Prejean, our commencement speaker.
So y'all heard that whole first part of me being a nun and doing regular nun work and teaching in high school, director in the parish of religious education. How to Sam Hill did I end up on death row? And therein hangs some tales. You got to know, all while Tim Robbins was writing the script of the movie A Dead Man Walking, he kept saying, the nun is in over her head. So I want to talk to you about how we get called in the gospel, and the gospel of Jesus, which is going to get us into some interesting places, especially if we start getting on the side of poor people, people without a voice, the vulnerable ones of society. So here's kind of basically what happened was I had a moment of recognizing, because all my life I believed that following Jesus meant being charitable to each other. I was one of those good teachers. I didn't slap kids around with a rule or anything. I loved them, and it was all good. Charity to those around you, but I didn't get it about justice. So that was an awakening. I heard a talk that the gospel of Jesus was really about being on the side and in solidarity, people struggling for justice, because I was privileged. We sitting in here today and you're graduating, you are entering among the privileged people of our society by getting a college degree. And we're glad about that, because education wakes us up. It tells us our gifts. But I woke up, and that's what led me in 1982 to move into the St. Thomas housing projects. I'd always lived in the suburbs of New Orleans and worked with mostly other white people like me. And when I moved into St. Thomas, it was like moving into the other America. I had grown up during the Jim Crow days in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My daddy was a successful lawyer. I went to a segregated school, St. Joseph Academy. There were no black kids. I didn't mix it up with black people at all. I only knew African Americans as my servants growing up. And I moved into St. Thomas, a place called Hope House. And then I got my second education, my second formation in the gospel of people struggling at every level. And it put me in touch with my privilege. And it's while I was there that one day, coming out of the Adult Learning Center, a friend from the Louisiana Coalition on Jails and Prisons meets me right down St. Andrew Street. He had a little project going on. Everybody he saw that day is going, hey, you want to be part of this? And he bumps into me. And I want to tell you, this is Sneaky Jesus Part 1 in this thing. Hey, Sister Helen, you want to write a man on death row? His name's Pat Saunier. I said, yeah, I could write some letters to someone. I thought I was only going to be writing letters. You see what I mean about the sneaky part? So he gave me the name. I wrote the man a letter, and the problem was the man wrote back. So I wrote, he wrote, I wrote, he wrote. He didn't have anybody to visit him, and here I go. So then I go to visit him. I had no idea when I started doing that 2.5 years later, he's going to be electrocuted to death for his crime, and the only one who's going to be with him in a death house, the only one who could be with him in those last hours and walk with him and be with him is going to be the spiritual advisor, who's going to be me. I think if I had known that in the beginning, I never could have said yes. So that sneak part of Jesus Part 2 was when I wrote to him and just said, I'll come see you sometime, and he sent the visitor form back, and here you go. And he goes, well, I'm a Catholic and you're a nun. Would you be my spiritual advisor? And I say, sure. And I'll fill out the form, and then I'm there. There's a saying in Latin America, what the eye does not see, the heart cannot feel. and I was there. And he had done a terrible crime. He and his brother had killed a teenage couple in cold blood. And let me tell you a little bit about the writing of the book of Dead Man Walking. So anybody who writes, or even to be persuasive in a very emotional, controversial issue. I wrote the first draft of Dead Man Walking. If I hadn't had a good editor at Random House, you never would have heard of the book. And there wouldn't have been a film. And there wouldn't have been an opera. And there wouldn't have been a play. In fact, the only thing we're missing is a ballet called Dead Man Kicking. That's the only thing we're missing so far. But if I hadn't had that good editor, when he looked at the first draft of Dead Man Walking, he said, "You're a good writer, but nobody's going to read your book." I go, "Why?" And he goes, "You wait far too long to talk about the crime. You are so into the human rights of this person about to be executed." And people are going to think she's a nun, she believes in Jesus, you've got to forgive him. And they're not going to think you can face the terribleness of what he and his brother did in killing that teenage couple. And if you don't talk about the crime in the first 10 pages of the book, nobody's going to read your book. So I changed it. I shaped the story. 10 pages, you get in there with this young, David LeBlanc and Loretta Bork, and there's Pat Saunier, there's his brother Eddie, and there they are killing those kids in a sugarcane field that had been harvested. And I stand in the anguish of that, the horror of that, and then the feeling of those parents. And then the other thing I had to do in the book, he said, and you just got to take the writer with you, the reader, because they're going to come with you step by step. First, well, anybody who deserves the death penalty, there it is. They killed 2 teenage couples. They killed these kids. They deserve death. And you got to just take them then, step by step by step, into what it means for the state of Ohio, of Louisiana, to take a human being and execute them and call it, this is what justice means. It's a journey. Tim Robbins knew that in the making of the film A Dead Man Walking, he was going to have to bring people over into both sides of this issue. And so it happened. And once I wrote the book, Susan Sarandon read the book, and she's the one who really made the film happen, because she had a passion, she had a fire in her heart. We needed another kind of film. So if you see the movie of Dead Man Walking, it has a very bold ending. And Tim Robbins tells about the experience with the editing committee. Matthew Poncelet is the character. He's a composite of Pat Saunier and Robert Lee Willie. And you see him, and he goes through his own journey of conversion, finally acknowledging what he did, asking forgiveness of the victim's family when he's going to be executed. So there he is being executed. And everybody on the editing committee with Tim Robbins said, end the film there, because you have the audience there. He's been through, he did the terrible crime, finally he acknowledged it, now he's going to be executed. He's asking forgiveness of the victims. So in the film there, don't show the murders again. And Tim said, I don't want to have the audience. And he juxtaposed, if you see the film, there's Matthew Poncelet on the gurney being executed. And then you also see him committing one of the murders and being a part of the rape of the girl. And the audience, the theater manager said, everybody just stayed seated in the theater, because there it was, both arms of the cross, I call it, because the gospel of Jesus is not about easy stuff. And the heart of the dialogue with Pope John Paul was, we say we're pro-life as Catholics, but I notice people make a distinction, and they say it's about innocent life, but when it comes to these guilty people, they deserve what they get. Can you help our church recognize the inviolable dignity is even of the guilty, that we should not be strapping people down, rendering them defenseless, and killing them and calling it justice when we have another way to protect society? So I want to say to the graduates, pray for the fire. St. Bonaventure said, don't ask for understanding, ask for the fire. Of course you have to understand things. And when you go to try to be persuasive in society to change things, you got to really know the facts and what you're talking about. But what's the fire? The fire is that spirit in us, that passion in us. And that is going to be my prayer for you, that you will find your own fire. You will find what makes you want to get up in the morning and do work. And as you do it, like I've done this 35 years, the energy keeps coming back to you when you found your wave, when you're on fire. And I pray that that comes to you and that's going to be a part of your life. This is a special place. I think this is my third time here, being with you, being with the faculty, being with the students. So I say, and we're coming into the season of Pentecost. That's the season of catching on fire with our faith and making it real in the world, especially for the vulnerable, especially for the poor. Ohio is close to ending the death penalty. I want to ask you to get involved in some way. It's passed through the Senate. You got a governor willing to sign it. You just need the people in the House of Representatives. So some kind of way, get involved. Hope is an active verb. It means you're doing something. So I encourage you to get involved to help Ohio. And thank you for letting me be a part of this happy ceremony today.
Thank you, Sister Prejean, for being a part of our commencement ceremonies today and inspiring so many through your leadership and hard work to support others, to educate around the world through your writing, and to change laws. Graduates, we hope you remember the impact one person can make to affect positive change. We hope you go forward from the Mount and do the same. Candidates for degrees will now be presented. Following the presentation of all candidates, Dr. H. James Williams, President, will confer the degrees. I do ask the audience to please withhold applause until all candidates are presented. This will allow for each of the graduates' names to be heard and recognized. Our readers for today are the Reverend Dr. John Amankwa, Associate Professor Emeritus, Department of Communication and New Media Studies. Father John will present degrees for Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Fine Arts. Dr. Tracy McDonough, Professor, Chair of the Department of Psychology, will present degrees for Bachelor of Science. Amanda Meeker, Director of Career and Experiential Education, will present degrees for Bachelor of Science. And Dr. Carrie Heeman, Assistant Professor, Simulation Lab Coordinator, Department of Nursing, will present degrees for Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the following candidates for Bachelor of Arts degrees. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, please come forward. Nolan David Bradford, summa cum laude. Caretta Lilith Lucy Lee Banfield. Carly Michelle Caldwell, summa cum laude. Alison Elizabeth Casey, summa cum laude. Madeleine Julia Kleiman, Adelaide Grace Conley, summa cum laude. Bailey James Crace. Noah Spencer Douglas, summa cum laude. Terina Franklin. Emma Riley Garner, summa cum laude. Ella R. Hatun. Grace Ann Hissett. Maria Christiana Huth, summa cum laude. Evelyn H. Jackson. Mary Jeanette Lee. Lee Eu, summa cum laude. Kathleen May Maloney, summa cum laude. Alexis Jane Ann Mattioli, summa cum laude. Isabella M. McIntyre, summa cum laude. Alisa Nicole Microbets, summa cum laude. Haley Renee Mullins, magna cum laude. Joseph Tate Newton, summa cum laude. Haley Oak Osborne, magna cum laude. Anna Reeves Carmen Perez Martinez. Lindsay May Perkins, summa cum laude. Emily Marie Pfeiffer, summa cum laude. Sky Ruth Plank, magna cum laude. Veronica Jean Pope. Abigail Elizabeth Simon, magna cum laude. Jackson Wayne Simon, magna cum laude. Deshaun Dwayne Starks. Rachel Elizabeth Story, magna cum laude. Evelyn Rose Wuzelbacher. Cameron James York, magna cum laude. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts, please come forward. Patricia Jude Bettenhorn Harmon, summa cum laude. Kayla Hess, summa cum laude. Macy Marie Hoying, summa cum laude. Caroline Liderly. Darian L. Magron. Marie Kathleen Specker, cum laude. Kathleen A. Worms, magna cum laude.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the following candidates for Bachelor of Science degrees. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, please come forward. Michael Flynn Abel. Michael K. Uddy. Nathaniel Joseph Armstrong. Madison Victoria Baird. Victoria L. Barrett. Jacob Lee Brackney, summa cum laude. Ella Marie Breitfelder. Cameron Joshua Bryant. Brady Joseph Buller, cum laude. Oakley Matthew Burba, summa cum laude. Sean Michael Carter. Shane Michael Clefane, magna cum laude. Willard Young Cluxton, magna cum laude. John Leon Cole III, cum laude. Tiana Iman Cole. Gracie Lynn Collins, summa cum laude. Jacob Alex Casanas, cum laude. Claudia Angelica Covarrubias, cum laude. Jasper Allen Damewood, summa cum laude. Sarah C. Dance, summa cum laude. Evan Scott Deal. Grace C. Dillman. Azaria Latrell Douglas. Kathleen Winter Dwyer, cum laude. Logan Robert Essen. William Michael Costa Fahrenholtz. Trevor Wade Fisher. Abigail Marie German, cum laude. Joshua R. Glines, magna cum laude. Desmond Deshawn Harrell. Shatana T. Head. Haley N. Heller, magna cum laude. Matthew Ryan Hibbard, magna cum laude. Ryan Matthew Hill, summa cum laude. Megan Grace Holbrook. Madison Lynn Holland. Cody Allen Hobson. Alexia Lita Marie Juan. Chloe M. Jansen. Brandon L. Jett. Mason Michael Jewell. Carrie Ann Krebs. Megan Elise Leininger. Nathaniel Edward Magliano. Amber Marie Marcourt, cum laude. Luis Martinez Velez. Jacob Philip Matre, summa cum laude.
Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, please continue to come forward. Jetta Marie Summer McCart, magna cum laude. Zachary McKenna. Michael Bennett McKenzie, cum laude. Jacob Warren Miles. Jocelyn Nicole Morrison. Herman Mugaluma, summa cum laude. Pedro Damian Munoz. William Orrin Nagel, cum laude. Michael Alexander Nally. Joseph D. Nartker, summa cum laude. Joby Nicholas Neidenbach, magna cum laude. Ebony Brooke Newland. Matthew Tyler Obert. Riley Scott O'Brien, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Joseph Oldendick, cum laude. Aaron Michael Palmisano, cum laude. Rhiannon Phillips. Emily Reed. Derek Joseph Richter, magna cum laude. Avery Lene Robbins. Zoe A. Romaker, magna cum laude. Isabella Sun Rose. Emily Lisette Rubio Mora. Jillian R. Rutherford, summa cum laude. Devin Michael Del Salyers. Kevin Douglas Schaff. Evan Michael Schlensker. Laura E. Schmidl, cum laude. Kristen Grace Schoenfeld. Ella Nicole Shepard, summa cum laude. Alexander Thomas Sipniski. Alexander M. Smith, cum laude. Samuel Raymond Solinsky. Julia Marie Spees. Brandon M. Sproul, summa cum laude. Joseph Matthew Stark. Ellen Jane Stover, cum laude. Lucas Temke. Ava Noel Tischbein. Cassidy Lee Tonkin. Jacob Michael Trusty. Zachary Raymond Urbanski. Samuel Edward Weems III. Megan Lee Winders. Rachel E. Winkler, summa cum laude. Austin James Neely Womack. Grace Trinity Young, magna cum laude. Christopher Dale U., cum laude. Jordan Javari Zygo.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the following candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing, please come forward. Maria Guadalupe Aguilar Gallen. Aaron N. Androne. Angela Elizabeth Borcher. Austin Matthew Bruno. Madeline Michelle Clark, summa cum laude. Maggie Couch. Stephanie Kathleen Edwards. JC Fonderheide, magna cum laude. Carissa Teresa Gregg. Maya Rebecca Hodge, cum laude. Emily Ann Connect. Chloe Ann Marshall, cum laude. Megan Kathleen McIntyre, magna cum laude. Anna Carla Roy Mercado. Kelsey Helena Phillips. Cody Christopher Rands. Deborah Eve Rule, magna cum laude. Mandy Walker. Isabella Mackenzie Watson. I now invite President Williams to return to the podium for the conferring of degrees. Will all the candidates for the bachelor degrees please stand for the conferring of your degree?
All right. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the State of Ohio, I confer on you the degree for which you have been nominated and welcome you into the ranks of the Mount Alumni. Graduates, you may move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations.
Congratulations, graduates. Now it's time to present two special awards to members of this year's class who are being recognized for outstanding achievement. If I call your name, please come forward to receive your recognition plaque. The Jane Cooney Armstrong Award is given at commencement to the graduate who has been an example of the university mission and has shown consistent persistence, improvement, and continued academic diligence while enduring life's challenges. This year's awardee is Tricia Harmon, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Graphic Design. Tricia, please come forward. The Mount St. Joseph University Distinguished Student Award is presented to a student who has demonstrated superior academic performance as well as active participation in community service consistent with the Catholic mission of the university. I'm honored to present the Mount St. Joseph University Distinguished Student Award to Gracie Collins. Today, Gracie received a Bachelor of Science in Sport Management degree. It's my pleasure to present Gracie Collins as our distinguished student speaker.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome friends, family, honored guests, teachers, and the graduating class of 2024. Before I get started, I would first like to thank all of the professors that have helped each and every one of us get to this point today. I also would like to thank my wonderful family that has definitely had to listen to a few too many 8-page essays or impromptu presentations before I submit them for their liking. But seriously, you guys are my strongest support system, and I don't know where I would be without you. I love you guys. While brainstorming ideas of what exactly I wanted to talk about today, I reflected on many different aspects of our time at the Mount, including campus Starbucks runs, the occasional petting zoo run-in in the quad, many lunch rant sessions with friends, and quite a few late night study sessions as well. That being said, within these memories that we have all made during our time at the Mount, there have also been many lessons learned that I hope I can leave with you all as you embark on these new journeys in your life. First, I would like to express the importance of realizing the impact that you have on others in life. Last year, at this time, I had the opportunity to go to Italy with the Sport Management Department at MSJ, and I will admit, I initially pictured nice walks on the beach, pastries and pasta galore, and maybe just a little bit of wine to go along with it. However, these signature Italian excursions were not the activities that stuck with me nearly a year later. Oddly enough, the service learning activities that I initially just wanted to get out of the way to relax on the beach are the activities that have weaseled their way into my brain and decided to stick around about a year later. My experience serving others throughout Italy allowed me to realize that we have a purpose and impact on others so much larger than we may think. The multitude of smiles, laughter, hugs, and joy that we were all able to bring out of the visitors of the soup kitchens, refugee centers, and churches we volunteered at was truly amazing. All that being said, I think it is truly important to realize that whether you're in Delhi or Rome, you really can leave lasting impressions on others that may be just a passing moment for you, but are pivotal moments for someone else because your impact on others is truly bigger than you may think. Someone still giggles when they think of a joke you told them. Someone still smiles when they think of the compliment you gave them when they had a rough morning. And someone is still passing on the kindness you showed them because they realized the difference it made in their day. Your existence does make a difference, whether you realize it or not. On another note, I am sure everyone in this room has been asked in the recent months leading up to this very day, what do you plan to do next? Or what do you plan to do with that degree? Personally, this question sends me into fight or flight mode quicker than the realization that I actually had to get up here and speak in front of all of you today. However, I think it is extremely important for all of you sitting here to realize that it's okay. You do not have to have it all figured out when you leave this room. Many people are going to offer their own opinions on what you should do, ask what your degree is for, and ask what your life plans are. But in the long run, your happiness and the person you are, instead of the career you pursue, is what truly matters. Life is ever-changing in terms of work, careers, education, friends, and more. But the one constant aspect of our lives that we have control of is ourselves. So the real question we should be asking is, what kind of person do I aspire to be, instead of what job do I want to get with that degree? Erring in the direction of kindness and aiming to be the best version of yourself will ultimately land you where you want to be in life. You are in control of how you show up for the world to see. And it is important to realize that what you do and who you decide to be makes a huge difference. And you are the deciding factor in what kind of difference you want to make, whether that be positive or negative. All in all, I hope after listening to this speech, everyone in this room will begin to take a moment to reflect on yourself and the impact that you are leaving on this world and those around you as well. I know that bad days happen, but it is important to also realize that you can be the light in someone else's bad day that you might have needed as well. As time goes on, people are not going to be talking about who won prom king or queen in high school, who has the best job after graduation, or who had their life all figured out the quickest, because that is not the true measure of success in life. Instead, people will be reminiscing on the person you were or are, the impact you have had on their life, and the light that you project on this world. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once wrote, "To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded." So, class of 2024, as you go on this journey called life, look back and remember the friends you made, the professors who guided you, and the people who supported you along the way. And always try to be the best version of yourself. Congratulations and good luck in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you, Gracie. Now it's my pleasure to invite back to the podium President H. James Williams to address the graduates.
Thank you, Mr. Provost. Good afternoon. Thank you. On behalf of the students, the faculty, the staff, the alumni, and Board of Trustees, and in honor of our foundresses, the Sisters of Charity of Cincinnati, I want to add my welcome to this 113th commencement ceremony. We're very pleased to have you join us in our celebration of excellence and achievement. Of course, I must begin by recognizing members of the Sisters of Charity of Cincinnati who might be in the room. If you're here, please stand or raise your hand or whatever, please, we want to know who you are. Thank you so much. Absolutely. We appreciate you and thank you for the heritage and values that that continue to sustain and inspire us now for more than 100 years. Thank you. I also want to recognize and acknowledge my lovely wife and your First Lady, Carol Campbell Williams. Carol, please. Thanks for all you do for the Mount. And now, no, before I go to the graduates. Today is Saturday, I know. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. I consider this weekend to be Mother's Weekend. So I'd like to ask all the mothers in the audience to stand so that we can show our appreciation for what you do for our society. Yay, mothers. Hear, hear. Thank you for all you do to make our society a better place. Nothing happens until Mother is here, so thank you. And now for the 2024 spring semester graduates. While COVID-19 disrupted much of the first couple of years for many of our outstanding young men and women, I commend you for persevering and exerting the extra efforts and energies necessary to overcome. Not just COVID, but the many obstacles that raised their heads during the time you spent educating yourselves. Congratulations, you overcame all the obstacles. It may also be worth noting to yourself and for yourself what President Lincoln once said: there are no accidents, for every effect must have its cause. The past is the cause of the present, and the present will be the cause of the future. In other words, you're not here today by accident. You're not here by serendipity or by happenstance. You're here because of the great work you did to educate yourselves. You did what you needed to do, when you needed to do it. You made sacrifices to make sure that it happened. So again, congratulations. Still, as much as you worked diligently and sacrificed significantly, you know you didn't do it alone. Thus, we join you in offering congratulations to all of the parents, spouses, extended family members, and friends who supported you in achieving your goals and who now turn out to witness the celebration of your accomplishment. Let's thank them. Hear, hear. Indeed, we applaud your success in educating yourselves well, and more important, cementing your understanding of the value of education, which positions you so very well for lifelong learning. The choices we make dictate the lives we live. I commend you on the choices that you've made to this point in your lives. You're here to earn a college education, perhaps as an entree into the profession you've chosen. In addition, many of you made the choice to educate yourselves because you understand the imperative of continuous improvement, and you're trying to be the very best you can be in your chosen profession and in your personal lives. You know that higher education opens doors, provides options, and enhances appreciation for so much of God's great work. Indeed, you have earned a future full of options and choices to make. And while the future will provide challenges, I assure you the rewards you are positioned to achieve will be great and even profound. You will excel, I have no doubt. In the 1994 movie, The Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne says, quote, "Remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies," close quote. I agree. A couple of nights ago, I heard a presenter right here on campus say, and I'm paraphrasing, "Education breeds confidence, and confidence breeds hope." I agree with that too. What I believe most and agree with totally is Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Hope and a future indeed. Believe that, graduates. Hope is indeed a good thing. Never lose it. You are future world leaders, citizens of the world. Go boldly and capitalize on the preparedness and optimism that have become the hallmarks of a Mount education. Class of 2024, remember that your Mount education is a promise. It is a promise of who you can be and what you can achieve for yourselves and for the common good. You are scholars and leaders. Go now and be extraordinary. I heard one of my colleagues just before we walked in here say, go to where you're needed and do what needs to be done. And remember, simplicity, humility, and charity. Care for all creation and dare to risk a caring response. Congratulations, graduates.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dan Sutton, class of 2008 and class of 1999 from the Alumni Association, to the podium. Dan Sutton is president and CEO of Kemba Credit Union. He joined Kemba in 1999, previously serving as assistant controller, chief financial officer, and chief operating officer. Under Dan's leadership, Kemba has grown to nearly $1.7 billion in assets and serves 130,000 members. Dan is currently treasurer of Kemba's board of directors, chairman of the Ohio Credit Union League's Advocacy Action Committee, chairman of the Westchester Liberty Chamber Alliance board of directors, and he serves on several other boards. Dan holds a master's degree in organizational leadership and a bachelor's degree in accounting, both from Mount St. Joseph University. He currently resides on the west side of Cincinnati with his wife, Becky, and has 2 children, Michael and Emily. Dan is an ideal candidate to come and talk as an alum because his wife, Becky, is a 1993 alum, his daughter, Emily, is a 2020 alum, and his mother-in-law, Kathy Berninger, is a 1969 alum. Dan.
Thank you. Dear graduates, esteemed faculty, proud parents, and distinguished guests, as we gather here today to celebrate the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and perseverance, it is with great honor and privilege that I stand before you to welcome you not only as graduates, but as valued alumni of Mount St. Joseph University. 16 years ago today, literally today, May 11, 2008, I stood on this very stage before hundreds of bright and talented graduate students, and I delivered the speaker address as the recipient of the Distinguished Student Award. Today, as I stand before you, please allow me to share my journey throughout this university, not once, but twice. In August of 1990, I gassed up my 1981 AMC Concorde. I grabbed one duffel bag, and with $40, and I probably am rounding up, cash in my pocket, I left my comfortable home in Indianapolis, and I drove east to Cincinnati. As a starry-eyed 18-year-old, admittedly, the classroom was not my destination. The football field was. As I was recruited to play on the Mount's first football team. We won our very first game ever in the history, and then lost the next 8. We went 1-9 that year. So it didn't take long before I realized that I would not become a professional football player, and maybe I should turn my focus to the classroom. As I struggled to find my true passion and calling in life, I changed majors twice before my junior year. All of my buddies stayed their course of studies and were on schedule to graduate on time. I was lost and frustrated, desperate really. That's when I tried my luck at accounting and changed my major for the 3rd time. Any accounting majors in here? Fortunately, the debits and credits lined up and everything balanced. I found a major that I liked and that I was good at. I took 45 hours my senior year. I caught up with my buddies and I graduated with them. During my time at the Mount, I struggled with balancing athletics and classroom time. I struggled with what major to pursue, and I struggled with what and who I wanted to be when I grew up. Throughout all my struggles, my coaches, my professors, my advisors all stood by me, giving me the courage to stay strong and to keep the faith. Upon graduation, I worked a couple jobs as an accountant before taking a job as the assistant controller of Kimba Credit Union. In January of 2002, I was named Kimba's very first chief financial officer. And it wasn't long before I set my sights on the CEO job. However, I knew that I was not prepared to lead the organization and its people. So in 2005, I enrolled in a Mount's Masters of Science in Organizational Leadership program. I had to set myself apart from others who wanted the highest chair. And I knew the Mount was the perfect place to ensure that I was prepared. In 2008, I graduated from the Mount with a master's degree in organizational leadership and an education that more than prepared me to take the appropriate steps towards chief executive officer. For each of you today marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. It's a time of reflection, celebration, and anticipation for the journey that lies ahead. As you prepare to embark on new endeavors and embrace the opportunities that await you, I encourage you to take a moment to look back on the path that has led you to this very moment. Each one of you has traveled a unique journey filled with challenges, triumphs, and moments of growth. You have overcome obstacles, embraced your passions, and forged lifelong friendships along the way. Today, as you stand on the precipice of the future, Remember the lessons you have learned and the experiences that have shaped you into the remarkable individuals that you are today. As alumni of Mount St. Joseph University, you carry with you the legacy of this highly regarded institution, a legacy built on a foundation of excellence, innovation, and commitment, a commitment to making a difference in the world. You are the embodiment of the legacy, and it is now your responsibility to carry it forward with pride and with purpose. But being an alum goes beyond simply holding a degree from this institution. It is about embracing the values and ideals that define us as a community: integrity, compassion, resilience, and a dedication to lifelong learning. It is about using your education and talents to effect positive change in your communities and beyond. So in closing, I want to leave you with one final thought. As you embark on this new chapter of your lives, remember that the journey is just as important as the destination. Embrace every moment, cherish every experience, and never lose sight of the incredible potential that lies within each and every one of you. Congratulations, graduates, and welcome to the next chapter of your lives as alumni.
Thank you, Dan. It's so nice to have you on campus with us and hear your message to our graduates today. And it's a wonderful message for all of us to remain lifelong learners. One of our great traditions here at the Mount is the Processional that takes place after each commencement ceremony, when our graduates exit the arena and walk through a receiving line of faculty and staff offering congratulations. The congratulatory line of faculty exits the rear of the gym. I hope you enjoy their heartfelt joy and pride in all you have achieved. Following the benediction, family guests must remain in your places until the stage party, faculty, and then the graduates have completely left the gym under the direction of our wonderful faculty marshals, Dr. Richard Simon and Dr. Pierre Revolta. Guests may then exit through the main Harrington doors where you entered and meet your graduates in the driveway to take photos in the quad or in front of our not newly installed now, but our mountain lion statue, Cowmount, in front of the Centennial Fieldhouse. We ask for your cooperation to make this a smooth process. If we've had quite a bit of people to get moved from point A to point B, but we want you to enjoy your celebration time together with each other. So we're happy to be able to host this ceremony. Graduates, stay safe and be well. Enjoy this special day, and blessings as you begin this new chapter as a Mount alum. I thank all of our graduation committee members, administration, registrar, campus police, buildings and grounds, emergency response, and our faculty and staff volunteers who have worked to make this program happen today. I would now like to invite Dr. Ann Saluk from our Board of Trustees to provide our benediction. Would the audience please rise for the benediction? Gentlemen, please remove your caps.
Let us pray. O good and gracious God, we ask that your blessings be upon these graduates as they and their families and friends rejoice and celebrate this day. May they find comfort in knowing that the Mount community will continue to embrace and support them as they journey through life. Help them to stay true to their dreams, all for your greater honor and glory. Help them to discern what is right, good, and just, and help them to use their gifts wisely in service to others and to advance the common good. Bless their lives from this day on with goodness, integrity, and faithfulness. May they face each day with faith, hope, and great love. Grace them and grace each of us. We make our prayer in your holy and sacred name. Amen.